Welcome to a Life of Freedom podcast, your source of inspiration and information on how and why you should choose to pursue your own happiness, pursue your passion, and design a life that fulfills you and makes it your own. And now here's your host, Ayesh LKZ.
This is episode 2 of season 2.
Today I am talking with Monia, formerly an assistant cruise director and now a world traveler.
This is the second part of the interview, and this was recorded in 2021.
Let's get to the show. What would you say is your greatest strength and your weakness, and how did it affected your life?
So my strength is flexibility. One of the requirements for working on board the ship is actually flexibility, because it can happen that they're calling me tomorrow and I have to do all my medicals and then getting back on board the ship as soon as possible. That's just part of being flexible, for example. Or like sometimes guest requests on board. Or like your coworker is asking you to do something, or your boss is asking you to do something, and that is showing the flexibility. So remember, you work 24 hours basically. You take your time off for sleeping, but you are actually in your workplace even when you're sleeping. And if something happens, there is like a translation to do for someone that went into a medical center in the middle of the night. Then you have to wake up and just go there and help the person, so flexibility is very important. Then my probably weakness, it will be that I cannot say no, and I just want to help. And I define myself as a good problem-solving person, and I definitely like to fix and find solutions and fix the problems.
Yeah. How long have you been on cruise ship?
4 years.
Yeah. How was your approach to doing work in cruise ships has changed from the first year to now?
So I initially started as international hostess because I speak 5 languages. So I was interacting with the guests, translating for them, and also participating on all the social events and doing presentation, taking part in sports events or games and activities on board. And then I was always in the entertainment department. Then I was growing on my position, and my goal was to become a cruise director and managing eventually the entire entertainment department. Yeah.
How long have you been traveling?
Well, I would say that I've been traveling since I was in my mother's belly, because she used to take me to Tunisia most of the time to visit my other family. And so, I think already at the age of 1, I had my passport.
Let's say you have a billboard in the middle of a city that millions of people would see. What would you put on?
Oh, well, I do have my own mantra, and it's more like be cool, stay on track, and be cool. It's important to be cool in life and not taking everything too serious, and stay on track, because sometimes the train can derail, right? And it's important to always be focused about what is in front of you. It's not about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey, and I will definitely that would be my message to the world.
Yeah. What keeps you motivated to do work on cruise ships and travel?
What keeps me motivated is probably passion for life. I'm in love with life. I think life is beautiful and the world is beautiful, and we do have this opportunity to know more. And how do you do that? It's by traveling. I think most of my friends, they are always debates about getting material stuff or traveling, and I'm all about traveling. So instead of just buying things to impress other people, I'm like, you should impress yourself. Why don't you, book a ticket and just take that trip? Because I always think that money always comes and goes, but what is regarding about traveling is that the emotions and the feelings and the experience that you get out of it is priceless.
Yeah, that's good. Are there any moments that you felt like this is why I did travel?
Yes, when I was in Brazil and I had the chance to observe the whole city from the Pão de Açúcar, I was so in love with the city and life, and I was like, yeah, that's the reason why I'm traveling. I could see the whole city, I could see the soul of the city, and there was so much beauty that it was fulfilling my eyes and my soul with that. And I was like, yes, this is definitely the reason why I'm traveling.
What would what kind of books you read, or what books you read recently?
I like some romance comedy, and I like some historical books as well. Yeah.
What would you say it's like your favorite, or like you read more often?
Oh, will definitely be The Iron Mask, by Dumas.
So, what is like your favorite documentary or movie?
My favorite
Documentary or movie?
documentary. I love actually a lot watching documentaries on the National Geographic. It's more technical, talking about wildlife and marine life, the sea life. It's very interesting. For the rest, I enjoy more sci-fi movies and some thrillers as well.
Yeah. What would be your goal in cruise ships, or what would be your goal as a traveler?
So now that I live in the United States, I am not very sure if I will be back on the cruise ship, especially because we don't know yet when all the operation will be, reprisonated. But definitely, if I'm going back, I'm gonna finish what I started. It means being a cruise director.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So, have you gone through the Panama Canal from the Atlantic Ocean to Pacific?
Yeah, it's a very interesting experience, actually. I had also the chance to work on the river, and the river operations are very different compared to the ocean ships, because the rivers, of course, they are smaller, and the traffic on the river is different. And also, it's very important the weather condition on the river because of the level of the water going up and down. It will not guarantee the access for the ship while it's crossing bridges in the cities. So it's pretty interesting, actually, how it works and how different is also the social life from river ships and cruise ships at sea.
Yeah. So, what is a product that is worth $100 or less that has a positive impact in your life? So, it could be from last few months, or in recent memory.
That is worth $100?
Yeah.
It's my suitcase.
Okay.
My suitcase has been my whole life, and my house was the airport. So, yeah.
So, how do you plan for a trip, and how do you pack and all those?
I don't usually start packing days before. I pack the night before. Yeah. I know more or less what I want to take with me. And then I'm just starting to pack. I am more like a practical person. I travel light. I always like to travel light. And I don't take with me too many bags or too many shoes, Of course, it depends on the length, first of all the holiday, and also where I'm traveling, because a vacation in Miami is different than one in Machu Picchu. But usually I like to travel light and being as practical as possible.
Yeah. So how would you decide where to go? So how did you decide, okay, this is the next place I'm going to? So what kind of...
So one of the things I used to do a lot is when I'm traveling and I'm on the airplane, I already look at the journal, like at the journal that they have on the airplane, and I look at the map of the world, and I'm just scrolling with my eyes and looking around, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be my next destination. So my future traveling plan starts already during the journey, during my current holiday.
Yeah, that's great. How do you see yourself in 10 years?
Wow. So there is a part that is still connected to the sea. It will probably be achieving my career at sea. Another part is probably achieving a career on land, and completely different scenario. I will still be a globe trotter even on land, but probably with a family at that point.
Yeah. What would you say, like, kind of like your favorite airline for like budget? Do you travel on economy? So how about it?
I usually don't do by budget. It depends where I'm going. As a solo traveler, especially as a woman, I do prefer to visit countries that they are safe to me. And usually I like to go with some organized tours if there are like some specific things that I would like to do. Especially if I'm alone, I always trying to get for the best and then making friends all along. But if I'm traveling with other people, then it depends on what kind of vacation we are looking for and what we want to do. I've been doing different type of vacation. I've been staying in local families with local people in Australia and New Zealand. I've been living in a campus in New York, or I've been living on an apartment with other 3 girls in China, or being in a luxury resorts in Miami. You know, it's just every time it's different. It depends on where you're going and with who you're going. I don't usually plan so much ahead, or like, you know, it depends also if it's going to be only about me or with other people, and what's the purpose of the vacation and the length.
Yeah. Out of the travels you've done, what are like the favorite dishes of yours, like food? So like, can you like name 3 and like why do you like it?
About food, the only thing about food, I am curious about food. Definitely I will try. Not really into eating other type of animals such as scorpions or crickets or stuff like that. But like, I'm not really into super spicy food either. But for the rest, then yes, I'm pretty open to most of it.
Yeah. Do you have any favorites that you
I love Mediterranean food. I love Mediterranean food and also Japanese food.
Are there any restaurants that you particularly like?
It depends. Well, in Chicago.
In your travels that you found restaurants that
Oh yeah, I always try local food, usually street food or like, you know, some other recommended. I usually ask the local, or I consult online on different platforms about, you know, feedbacks and ratings on certain restaurants, or like if some of my friends have been to those places, I will definitely listen to them.
Yeah. What would your advice be to if someone wants to start working on cruise ship?
What it would be my suggestion?
Yeah, like what would be your advice? What would tips would you give them?
Well, my advice will be have fun, enjoy the life on board the ship. It's beautiful, and learn as much you can and live as much you want, and, you know, try to please yourself and other people, and just enjoy the world and his beauty.
Okay. How would you define success?
Success. Well, some people define success with money eventually, or their social position, or about their job. For me, success is waking up every morning and starting a new day with a smile on your face, and just knowing that you are surrounded by people that loves you, and knowing that there are so many things to do out there and so many places to visit that can, fulfill your soul. Success is not always about money and about career. There are certain other things that are important. Usually you cannot have one thing without the other one. That's what it usually is, right? So if I have to choose, I will keep on doing the life I do.
So do you have a quote that you particularly like and you choose more from?
I guess it will be like when life gives you lemon, fly to Italy for a limoncello.
What would you say is your greatest accomplishment so far?
What would I say?
Yeah, what would be your greatest accomplishment in your life or in your career so far?
Well, definitely. When I started, my whole career and started, learning 5 languages and studying tourism management and, traveling with my family, I wasn't thinking to visit so many countries and just traveling all over the world. I was just thinking small, like getting a regular jobs but then I was always keeping on growing by level up to different cities and different goals. Like when I was living in Milan, I got the chance to study. I was studying marketing and PR, and then I got a master's degree in marketing eventually. I was thinking to work into marketing and PR fields, and then the cruise ship opportunity came up. And so I was like, well, hold on a second. I think I can have time to do the office job. Maybe what I need right now is just to jump on board the ship and travel.
Yeah. What skills would someone should have if they want to work on a cruise ship?
So the skills you need to have for work on the ship is definitely speak more than 2 or 3 languages. You need to be physically fit, mentally and physically fit. Then it's important that you have all those certificates I was talking earlier about, and also I think a lot of patience.
Yeah. Could you elaborate the process of being born on road trip? So are there any kind of qualifications that you need to do? Are there any training that you need to go through?
Yeah, you need to. Yes, you need to do trainings. First aids, firefighting, abandoned ship, and some others trainings that you need to do. I spent over 3 weeks in Italy training about abandoned ships, or how to save a human being, or how to turn off a fire as a firefighter. And so definitely there are different stages, and it's not guaranteed for everybody. Working on the ship is not for everybody. It's a total different world. And as I said before, you are 24 hours in your work environment, and you handle more than 3,000-4,000 people per day for 5 months straight. So it's not for everybody.
Yeah. How would someone find some kind of a course, or what are the places that you recommend that people go?
How to find a job on the ship?
First is how to find place to learn. Are there any? So what kind of what is the place that teach you? Are there any courses?
It depends. Initially, when I embarked as a cruise consultant and then as international hostess, it's all you can get some training about the system that has been used on board, and all these other things. or eventually you can actually rely on your previous job. Or for me, in my case, as I was like speaking 5 languages, then they ask you and they interview about your languages, and eventually you need to translate certain documents and then helping out.
Yeah. So would you say so the training is offered by the company that you're working for, or are you?
Depends on the position actually.
Yeah. So it means like you need to have some kind. Do you need to have some kind of qualification before joining?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of qualification?
So, well, first of all, it depends on the job that you are doing on land. And from that job, then you can bring it on board. And so that's what it is,
Yeah. So what's kind of like the commonly seen qualifications? Like what kind of people?
If you're a cruise consultant, for example, it means you're selling cruises on board the ship. Then it means your background is in sales. Or like if you are an international hostess, it means you speak more than 4 or 5 languages. And so for that, you will be tested. Like you have to do some translations, and some other, like some people in charge of that, they will eventually, judge your language level. And so then you will be on board, and then you will perform. And based on your performance as well on board the ship, then they will decide if they are going to keep you or not. So nothing is sure. Even in the moment you're on board the ship and your contract goes for 5 months, it doesn't mean that you're going to finish for 5 months if you're not meeting, the standards of the company. So you can leave at any time.
Yeah. What is like your money diet? So it means that what do you spend most money on, like other than rents and bills and all the necessary?
I usually, what I was spending on, it was more like food, restaurants, going outside with your friends that you make on board the ship, just going outside, or like my future travels after my contract.
Yeah. Okay. What is the most amazing place you have traveled to?
It's Tokyo.
Could you elaborate on that? Like, what are the reasons for that?
Well, I'm in love with Japan. I'm in love with the culture and the harmony that they create all around. Their food is delicious, and I was very impressed about how they can live all together. And Tokyo can be pretty busy. Certain of the streets in Shibuya, Roppongi, they can get very busy. And I was so impressed on how so many people can move at the same time in the same space.
Yeah. What would be like a perfect day for you?
A perfect day on the ship?
Yeah, in both. Yeah, you can.
A perfect day will definitely be going on a tour with the guests and exploring with them and creating experience with them that they will share once they go home to their families, and definitely learning something new about the place that I'm visiting.
Okay. So it would it be the whole day or? Okay, let's move. So you're saying it's like, so how would a perfect day would differ when you are planned?
The perfect day, it will be wake up in the morning with a cappuccino and a croissant, and just like knowing that I'm going somewhere and I have a flight ticket in my hand and I'm going to the airport after that. That is my perfect day.
Okay. So how like that kind of day would end?
It will be a surprising day.
Okay, yeah, let's keep it. So if you would receive 10 times the money that you are earning now, how would you?
Well, I will definitely purchase art. I'm in love with art, and then I will keep on traveling. Yeah.
So like,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So could you like elaborate on reasons, like kind of why do you love art and like what kind of art do you like?
I like more abstract art and also the period of the Romance. So Monet, Manet, some French romantic art, and I'm in love with Kandinsky as well. So it will be like some form of modern art as well, especially. But like I'm totally in love with art. I find it very inspiring, and it's another form of art of living, of happiness as well. It's colorful, and it's just like allows you to travel without traveling.
Yeah. So who would you say is like kind of your favorite artist and like what are kind of like your favorite?
My favorite artist has always been Pablo Picasso. I just love the way he decomposed and recomposed all his form and figures in his art.
So what's your favorite work? Like what's your favorite art like done by Pablo?
What's my favorite art from Picasso, you mean?
Yeah, from Picasso, and if you have some other.
From Picasso, I love the Mademoiselle d'Avignon and also the Guernica that is talking about the civil war in Spain. And it's a beautiful painting. It's large. I had the chance to see a replica in Barcelona. So one of the things I usually do when I'm traveling is visiting museums. So I've been in most of the museums around the world. Definitely my favorite one is in Vienna, the Belvedere.
So you talk about like visiting museums. So what do you like? What kind of like favorite artifacts or like arts that you go?
I usually like every city gets their own main museum, like the MoMA in New York or the Belvedere in Vienna or the Louvre in Paris, and so during my vacation, I always plan to visit museums as well. So I've been in most of those museums, and it's part of the journey because it's enriching and it's part of the cultural process. It's part of the learning process. It's not only about food and just learning the language eventually and trying to understand the place where you go, but it's also about embracing the art and the culture of the place where you go. And also learning something from them and learn their history and learn, most of the countries get their own roots. And so it's also important to pay attention to that.
Yeah. So do you like buy and collect art?
Not at the moment, but is what I would do if I was rich.
Yeah. So like what kind of art do you like hoping to buy?
It would be more modern art for the house and some paintings as well.
So like would you consider it to like, keeping forever or like, having
I will consider to keep them forever and then, give it to my kids one day.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. So let's talk about, so if you're having kind of like a bad day, how would you manage yourself?
Usually when I do have a bad day, I go on my computer and I'm trying to look at places I haven't been and trying to organize a future trip. Or another thing I like is just having coffee and just take a walk by the river and just enjoying the moment, because it's not always possible to be somewhere else, right? So sometimes we just need to enjoy where we are as well as part of our journey.
When you think of the word successful, who is the first person that comes to your mind? And
I'll say my father. He's always been an entrepreneur, and he's been always following his passions in some ways, and he's been very inspiring me to follow mine.
So, what have you changed your mind about in the last few years, and what? Do you have anything that you change your mind about, change your belief about in the last few years?
Something that changed my mind?
Yeah.
Age, probably. Time going by is definitely setting up other priorities in my life, and definitely being on board the ship and just traveling has been shifted to another place, right now it's more like stability wise, and definitely working on board the ship is not very stable. So yeah, that's what changed my mind.
Yeah. What is kind of like a new behavior or a habit that you incorporated in your life that has led to improvement in your life?
Behavior?
Yeah. So, behavior or a habit that you incorporated in your life that helped your life greatly, like in the past 5 years.
That will make my life better.
Yeah, that have made your life better. That any habit that you.
Well, definitely knowing how to handle 3,000-4,000 people every day, it will completely change your life. Once you learn that, even managing 1-2 people will be easy. And, it's a more rational thought, and also it's easier because you need to know what you want, and you need also to know how to talk to people. And it's all about being in the moment, being real, and respecting the other person. And sometimes we forget that, and definitely when you are challenged to do that on a big scale, like being on board the ship and be surrounded by 4,000 or 5,000 people every day, then yeah, you will be constantly reminded to do that.
Why would you say that someone who should try to go on cruise ships as a customer?
Well, I will strongly recommend an experience on board the ship. I think it's beautiful. It's interracial and is international, and it will open your mind, and it will make you very tired. There will be days where you will be tired, but you will wake up with a smile the day after.
So, okay. So, what are the lessons you learned from working on cruise ships?
Well, I learned what sacrifice really means. And, staying away from your family, staying away from your friends, saving money, having thoughts and dreams about your life on land and what you can build. And, is giving you strength while you're working for such a long time and so many hours per day. So that was definitely keeping me motivated on board the ship. And you need to be focused. You need to know what you want, because it's not possible just to go on and work on a big scale, like working on a cruise ship and just not having a purpose, because that will give you the strength you need to go, through your day.
So, what are the lessons you learned from traveling?
Never give for granted, and you are your best friend. So loving yourself is actually the best thing you can do, because in the end of the day, it's all about you and you.
How would you like to be remembered 50 years from now?
How would I like to be? 50?
How would you like to be remembered 50 years from now? But by other people, if they would think about what you want them to know.
Oh, well, I think all my friends knows about my globetrotter life and my crazy adventure life. They definitely define me as an adventurer and a little gypsy, and it's fine with me. It's totally fine. I want to be remembered as the person that never give up and just wanted to live and enjoy life, and did everything to do that.
Yeah, that's good. What are things that you feel that you're doing right now would help for that?
Well, I'm keeping on traveling as much as I can. I was still traveling even if in the United States, but still like traveling is definitely like a big fresh air that you can get after a while sitting in the room. You know, you open the window and you get that fresh air, and that's what traveling is for me. And so, yeah, it's just like, you know, knowing that there is something else out there that is waiting for you to be discovered. It's just beautiful. It's giving you hope in life.
Yeah. What advice would you give your younger self?
What advice would I give to my young self? Oh, that's a good question. I will say think a little bit more than twice.
Can you like elaborate on that?
Yes, sure. Well, usually you say think twice before you do something, right? And I'm usually thinking twice every time. And I've been thinking twice. So to my younger self, I will definitely say think more than twice. Because twice it wasn't enough. Because there was some bumping road along the way, right? And some mistakes along the way. So the fact that I've been thinking twice, it wasn't enough because those mistakes are still there. So I should have probably think more than twice.
Yeah. So how would you define happiness?
Happiness? Well, for me, happiness is waking up in the morning and having my coffee and knowing that there is a beautiful day out there, and that if I want it, I just have to put my shoes on and go run towards it. Okay. That's what happiness is for me.
So we are reaching the end of this. So before the last question, would you like to share how would people find you on your online, and how people can follow your travel?
Sure. I do have my own page on Instagram. It's Monia Vive. So VIAVI. That's my blogger. There are all my pictures from my recent travels. Yeah. And I do have also a Facebook page, but definitely my main social network is Instagram. So you can guys reach me out. I've been doing some reels lately with different content. So I'm just trying to be entertaining even on that.
Yeah, that's great. So finally, what does freedom means to you?
Freedom? Well, freedom for me means that you wake up tomorrow, you book a ticket, and you just fly on the opposite direction of the world. That's what is freedom for me.
Yeah. That's good. So thank you for being here. It's been a great experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Please leave a review and subscribe from wherever you listen to our podcast. See you next time. Thank you